We are so excited to give you part 4. If you didn't watch the first 3 parts, go back into the eXp Realty YouTube channel, click on the live tab and scroll down and you'll see agent attraction, business planning for 2024, parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 over the last couple weeks. Mayur, what are you excited most about today as we wrap this up?
You know, it's fun to see the entire cycle of recruiting, and everything leads up to what we're going to go over today, which is to really get people bought in and get them signed up and in your rev share organization.
This is my favorite part, right? A lot of what we talked about before is planning. It's understanding the company. It's figuring out a way to get people excited and exposed and just bring them in a really non-aggressive way, right? We don't want to just shout EXP in people's faces. We want to expose them to the immense value and the opportunity that's here within this company. And then once they get excited about it, once they get a little peek under the hood, then we are going to transition into what we're talking about today, which is how to do an effective 3-way call, an effective needs analysis presentation, right? That's the way we learned it originally. And I learned a lot of my best tips from you. So what I would love to do today is I would love to go through an effective needs analysis. I'll be your guinea pig. You've done this with me live before. You recruited me originally to our former company. And then we've transitioned over here and we've helped a lot of people self-discover the best plan and the best environment to help them get where they want to go. And that's really what it's all about, right? Is helping play matchmaker between what people see as their future vision and the resources that are available within the company that we want them to ultimately make the decision to join, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't just say, you know, here's a link, come and sign up.
Well, you could. I mean, that's what happened with us. But yeah, it doesn't always work that way, right? We have to lead people into understanding that there's really an opportunity here for them to change their life.
This is the right way to do it.
This is the right way to do it. Before we get to that, I want to go through a quick legal disclaimer as always. These figures are not a guaranteed representation or projection of earnings. Guys, EXP revenue share is not a get rich quick scheme. It is not something that just you come over here and immediately you're a multimillionaire. Everything in business, and especially with agent attraction and revenue share, requires hard work, skill, persistence, competence, and results will vary. But in my experience, the more seriously you take this and the more you put it on your schedule and the more you're intentional, the better the results are. So that is our disclaimer. Nothing good comes easily, and go to exprealty.com/income if you would like to learn more. All right, let's get to this needs analysis. So to set the stage, Mayur has already exposed me to EXP. He's already invited me to things. He's already shown me some value. I've expressed interest in learning more, and we're going to get together either on a Zoom call or in person to go over my goals and how Mayur might be able to connect the dots for me.
Yep. So the first thing I want to get to know, Jon, about you is, what is your big why?
Man, Mayur, my big why, honestly, is I want to leave a legacy. I want to do something really big. I want to help a lot of people. I want to help buyers and sellers. I want to grow a team, and I want to help agents. But I really want to do something bigger than all of that too. I want to impact thousands of lives and donate tons of money to charity. And I know that I need a really amazing vehicle and platform in order to make that happen.
Awesome. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is that to you?
Like a 1. No, I'm just kidding. It's 10 for sure. Like it's really, really important. And honestly, the entire reason we're having this conversation today is because I need to know, am I in the right spot to be able to make this happen over the next 5 to 10 years? Or is there a better opportunity out there that might be a better fit for, an alignment of what I want to do?
Well, where you're currently at right now, are you able to do that?
I haven't thought about that.
Well, you said you wanted to help thousands of people. And so are you able to financially help thousands of people as of today?
So I guess in my current company, I might have an opportunity. I might be able to, get on a stage or get in front of people. But when you put it that way, it doesn't really seem like it's going to be very easy for me to accomplish that goal of helping thousands based on the last 5 years of where I've been.
Got it. Okay, well, let's talk about where you're at and where you want to be. So let's talk about your business. Right now, it's the start of the year. Tell me about last year's numbers. Tell me about your GCI, your units, and your volume.
Okay, gross commissions was about 375,000, not our best year ever. Last year before that was close to 500,000. So down, I don't know, what's that, 20%, 25% in our business in GCI. And then you said what else?
Units?
Units was down probably similarly, maybe even a little bit more. I think we did like, I want to say it was like 18 units. And the year before, I think we did like 28.
Okay, what was your volume last year?
Volume last year was just shy of 20 million.
Got it. So you did 18 units, 20 million, and around 370,000, you said?
Oh, 375,000. Yeah, gross.
375,000. Okay, great. Tell me where you want to be this year. What are your goals for units?
I mean, I'd love to get at least back to 28. You know, that was our best year ever. I don't know, but maybe better than that. What do you think is realistic? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I don't want to put a goal out there that, you know, I always hear the whole like, well, let's just double it. I don't know, 40, like if the market conditions don't change and interest rates don't come down, 40 might not be realistic. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, 40 is very realistic because I can introduce you to a couple hundred people that did well over 40. But it just depends on you. How much time, money, energy, and effort do you want to put into the business? And most importantly, how much leverage do you have? Because you could double your units by buying twice as many leads or lead generating twice as many and going on twice as many appointments, closing twice as many sales, but you're going to probably run out of hours in the day if you don't have the proper leverage. So let's stick with 28. So you did 20 units this year, or you did 18 units this year. You want to do 28. So you want about a 35% increase. Last year, you did about 20 million in volume. What do you want your volume to be this year?
Uh, I mean, probably around 30, just over 30 million based on
Just
that.
over 30 million. Great. And what type of GCI do you think you'd be earning at 30 million?
30 million should be close to 600,000.
600,000. So that's a little over 200,000 more than you made this year. By having an extra 200,000, would you be able to hit some of your big goals and help more people?
I mean, I don't think I could hit my biggest goal. I think it's still, a couple 100,000. I mean, what could I, maybe give a little bit of money away to people, but I don't think it's thousands of people. But yeah, I mean, it would be better, right? Better than where I'm at today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 200,000 can help a lot of people, and it can help you to reinvest some of that into your business and also eventually grow into a team where you're going to get that leverage that we talked about so that you're not working 60 or 70 hours to do 30 million. You're working, what you did this year or even less, but by having a team help you with some of the units and volume and adding to that GCI. Okay. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's really important to me because I've got two little kids and I coach a couple sports. And so I'm not really looking like I worked almost as much as I could this year and didn't get the results I was looking for. And that's part of my frustration, right? Is like I don't want to work twice as much and have to sacrifice the things in the community that are important to me. So I need to figure out maybe a more efficient way to get more sales in the amount of time that I have.
got it. So you want to do 30% more sales, 30% more volume, and 30% more GCI, but you want to keep the same schedule that you have.
No, I want to do 30% less work.
You're going to do 30% less. Okay. So you want a 30% increase across the board, but you want to work a little bit less. Okay. And
Right.
so tell me the three things that you think you need in order to hit your goals this year. What are you lacking in your business?
Well, number one, I mean, it's got to be leads. We're in a high price point market, and in Southern California, I don't feel like I go on enough appointments. So number one would be I need a predictable stream. We do a lot of sphere of influence and a lot of past clients, but we need something else that's going to be predictable. That's going to help us get you know those extra units in to go on more appointments and get more listings and get more sales. That's one of them for sure.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is you need help with lead generation. You need some more lead generation strategies that are going to help you to get more appointments.
And
What's
I've
the second thing you think?
And I've tried a ton of stuff, but I just don't know. I don't want to take money. Like, we don't have all that extra money this year because our year wasn't so good. And so if we're going to reinvest, it's got to be something that's proven. I don't really want to take a risk, put an extra 20 or $50,000 towards something and have it not turn out to have the ROI.
Got it. And then what's the second thing that you think you need?
Second thing I think I need, I think what you said is probably true about leverage, right? Like, I can only be so many places. So whether that be better transactional support or more leverage on the lead side, like, I don't know, maybe somebody to call my database. It's something I know I should be doing more of, but I just, when things get busy, it's the last thing that I want to do or the last thing that I make time for.
Got it. What's the third thing that you think you need?
That's really hard. I don't know, honestly. Maybe, I mean, I want something that's going to give me a reach. So maybe I need like a better tool to impact more people, or just something that's going to get me out there in front of more people.
Got it. So maybe working on your network, expanding your network, expanding the number of opportunities that you have to reach a larger audience, both for your buyers and sellers, but also the people that you're looking to help.
And maybe through social media, maybe there's somebody that you can connect me with that would help me grow my social media presence, and that would allow me to connect with more people.
Absolutely. Great. So it sounds like you want to do 30% better across the board. You don't want to be working any more hours. You want to be able to make more money so you can impact more lives. You told me that this is the most important thing to you, and where you're currently at right now, you're not able to do that.
When you put it that way, yeah.
So, what if I was able to put together a transition plan for you, something that you could look at and read and digest, that'll put together a blueprint for you being able to hit every single one of your goals by the end of this year? Would you be interested in taking a look at that with me next week?
Yeah. Is that like, is this just like, what are we talking about here? Like, as far as transition, like, I'm not ready to make a move just yet. But I do want to see kind of some of these ideas that you've got. Is that something we could just discuss right now?
No. Um, this is going to be completely custom based on your needs. And based on everything that you told me, we've got a ton of resources and proven strategies for every single thing that you talked about. But I want to be able to make sure that I can put those together for you in a manner that's easy for you to take a look at. I even want you to check out and meet some of the people that are going to be involved. And so give me a few days to put together a custom transition plan. Doesn't mean you're moving over. It's completely confidential. It's just between me and you. But it'll illustrate a blueprint of exactly how you're going to hit every single one of your goals by the end of this year. And then with that in hand, you'll be able to make an educated decision based on when it's a good time for you to move.
Okay. Yeah, when can we do that? When can we set that up?
Awesome. Check my calendar and we'll put something on the books next week.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. So that was not too grueling or too painful, was it?
No, I got to know you, your business, where you're at, where you want to be, but most importantly, why. And that's a big question or a big portion that we see a lot of people skip over. They go straight into the meat and potatoes and talking about business questions. But if you don't know what motivates somebody, it's going to be very difficult for them to make a decision. And if you know it motivates them, and if you are really have a vested interest in helping them hit that big goal, then everything else will follow. And they'll end up working with you, and you'll end up helping them grow, and you'll be able to do something really fun and cool together.
Now, we have some additional resources, right? It's not just that. Like, we did that in about 10 minutes. How many of these have you done before? These needs analysis and helped agents kind of figure out what they need in order to get where they want to
go? Close to 1,000.
At least probably 1,000. I think I've seen you do 1,000. How long you broke it up into 2 appointments. Do you always do it in 2 appointments, or would you ever do it in one sitting?
It depends on the agent. And so if the agent has, a big business, and I would consider that, they're doing more than 10, 12 units a year, 10, 12 million, we're talking about a 200,000 GCI, they're going to need their time to take a look at a plan. Now, if you get a newer agent who's in the business who, I call them like they did a few fluke deals, they got a couple off social media, they sold their cousin's house, that's not a career agent. Those agents might be, more open to the opportunity on the same day. And their plan would be less of a custom plan and more of kind of, here's what's working right now for agents that are in your area, looking to, start to take over and get some market share.
Yeah, one of my favorite things we were taught is, especially with the lower producing agents, but you got to get a trial close out of the way. So one of the favorite things that I learned was just to ask everybody if they're ready to go ahead and get signed up. And when we made that change, right, we just started asking when we first sat down with everybody, we were like, great, thanks so much for coming in today, or thanks for agreeing to meet. I'm just curious, are you ready to get started with EXP today? And when we started making that simple change, what do you think is the percentage? Not superstars, not $20 million agents, but how many agents, percentage wise would actually just say, yes, I'm ready to go?
Oh, we've tracked it. It's like 25% of the agents actually said, I don't even want to go through the whole Q&A. I'm here to get started. But if you want to, if you want to spend 30 or 40 minutes talking about, a bunch of stuff on a whiteboard, you can. But a lot of agents, if you ask them, hey, are you ready to partner with me? And they just said, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, a lot of times people have kind of pre-made that decision, especially if they're in a point of like extreme pain, or they're looking for, or they already have done their due diligence and they know that this is a fit. Another thing that I like to do is I like to frame it and I like to say, look, there's 4 goals of the call today. One is I want to learn more about you. I want to learn more about how you got to this point in your career and where you see yourself going over the next 3 to 5 years. If you can share with me that insight, then what I would love to do next is share a little bit about my experience and the things that I think are most relevant. I'd love to explain the things about the company that I think are going to be most beneficial to where you want to go. And then the last thing, the fourth thing is I'm going to open it up to any questions that you have. Don't worry, you don't need to take a bunch of notes. I'm going to send you a follow-up email that explains everything in extreme detail. And I don't want you to take anything I say today at face value. My goal is that you do all of your due diligence, that you fact check everything that I say, and that you make sure that you're 100% ready to sign up with EXP and with me. Because I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not here to talk anybody into a good decision, and nobody should be pitching EXP in a way where you feel pressured to join, because if you sign up and you hate it, that actually does me a lot more harm than it does good. And so I'm never going to hard sell you on why you should join EXP. I'm simply going to expose you to the opportunity, and I'm going to ask that you come to me and let me know when you're 100% ready. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, perfect. And a lot of times in the needs analysis too, you'll find out that somebody's probably not a good fit. And you don't get paid if somebody joins and doesn't do any deals or they quit, like you just said. And so, sometimes it's you could save everybody a lot of time by doing a really good needs analysis. Some people are just, they don't want to do any lead generation. They absolutely refuse to do lead generation. They don't have a sales background. They don't have a large sphere of influence or any financial means to get it going. Agents that have a very limited schedule, or another job or something else they're doing that, jumping into real estate right now, part-time without doing lead gen and not having any money. There's not a whole lot of agents that are in that scenario that end up on the other side with a bunch of big commission checks.
Or they have unrealistic expectations, right? Sometimes they come to the table and they're like, well, I expect you to be my coach, and you're going to meet with me every single day, and you're going to do da 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 da. So it's like, I don't want to set somebody up for failure up front. I want to set some expectations about what my role is and how involved I'm going to be and how they can get access to me, and the fact that I'm an action-based coach and I'm going to expect them to do homework before coming back to me, and I'm not here to be their therapist, and I do weekly group coaching. Like, all that stuff needs to be in alignment. And then also some agents, right? We have a very value-driven company, right? EXP is all about value, and some agents are looking for cost. And so what we never do is we never compete on cost, right? We never go in and say, oh, well, you could save $5,000 by joining. That's where I think most agents go wrong, is they want to put it on paper and be like, well, look at how much money you're paying Coldwell Banker or Compass or whoever. And the reality is agents rarely make a move because of how much money they're paying their brokerage. What people don't understand is there is an implied value in what they pay, because they only pay a piece of what they make. And so if you're paying, let's just say hypothetically, Coldwell Banker $250,000 in splits, right, for the year, you're also making about $800,000, right? And so a lot of times agents are like, well, I don't care what Coldwell Banker makes as long as I make the money that I need to make. Alternatively, there's agents who are just interested in how cheap they can get it. So $16,000 cap or our splits or our healthcare or all of our value, like none of that is relevant to them, because they're just looking for the cheapest option, because they don't see the value in value. And those are not an agent or a conversation that we want to go too far with, because we're not 100% shop. Like, you should get paid to work at EXP if you're a producer, but if you're only doing a couple deals a year, you're going to have to pay a lot more in splits than you would at, let's say, the 100% shop down the street.
Yeah, and we actually have a really great question. If there's anything you take out of today, write this down. When somebody comes and is arguing about splits or negotiating or different caps, all these different things, the most important question to ask somebody is, what's more important to you, your split or your net?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you have an 80-20 split, a 70-30, a 50-50. If you're able to net more money with all the other things that are included with EXP, the stock, the revenue share, the opportunity to be on world-class teams, the opportunity to take advantage of our marketing and our CRMs and our lead generation systems. If you're actually able to net more money at the end of the year, well, that should be what's most important to most people, and they don't look at it that way. And that's a great question for them to kind of start thinking about, hey, this might be a better fit for me, even though the split or the cap may be a little bit higher than the company across the street.
Now, you set this follow-up appointment, right? And I could have said anything, right? I said leads and whatever, but I could have said a million different things. How much time does it take you? How do you know what to come back with when we have this follow-up meeting to go over the things at EXP that are going to match with the things that they said they need? Like, what if they say something and there isn't something at EXP to help them do that?
That's a great question. And so you have to be the pharmacist of the drugstore. And so that's the kind of analogy that we use. And so, you said that you need help with lead gen. So I know that there's a ton of great lead gen classes that are being taught by our icon agents on a weekly basis. I know the agents, I know their business. I've taken their classes. I've taken exactly what they said to heart and put it, in my own agents' businesses and seen the results. And so based on everything you told me, I know the class, the person, the mastermind, to prescribe to them. And so you gave me 3 really easy ones. And so I know the answers to all 3 of those. But I only know that because I'm diving deep into EXP every day. I'm looking at EXP Life. I'm looking at the icon classes. I'm checking out the calendar. I'm in EXP world. I'm attending all of the events. I'm in work chat. I'm all over workplace. And so, I'm up to date on what we have to offer. And so when I do a needs analysis, I feel very confident that I know what that person has said they think they need, and I can find the appropriate, vehicle in EXP to pair them up with.
Yeah, if you haven't re-recruited yourself, if you don't consistently participate in what EXP has to offer, and you don't know the different offerings and tools and resources, and you don't apply those in your own business, and you don't coach people on how to apply those in their business, it's going to be really hard for you to do this, right? It's like telling somebody that they should buy, this car, this Mercedes or whatever, but you've never test driven it. You don't know what fits in the trunk. You don't know how to recline the seats. Like, you need to understand everything about the product that you're selling. And those are some great resources. I love to hang out on Workplace. I love to check out EXP news and announcements. classes, Level Up, EXP, YouTube. Also, don't forget to utilize like your network, right? We have great resources through the Fast Forward movement, and agents like Brent Gove has a ton of resources, and there's all these different things that are out there. And the more you understand what they are, the better you can play matchmaker and deliver the appropriate responses to these people. For you to put that custom transition plan together, I mean, heck, you probably could have done it on the fly, but by creating that pause, it definitely gives them, the feeling that you're really taking your time with this and that this is really valuable and meaningful. And then when they come back down to review it, we like to give them a close. Basically, what you say is, hey, if I can show you a plan that you believe is the absolute best plan to get you where you said you want to go, are you ready to move over to EXP, or when are you ready to move over to EXP? And we want to make sure that we figure that out, because some people are like, well, yeah, you could show me the best plan in the world, the plan that I think is 100% the best. I'm not moving for a year, if ever, because like in my case, my stepdad was regional vice president of Coldwell Banker and he had cancer at the time. Like I wasn't moving regardless of what happened, and had the people that were talking to me at the time known that, then they might have saved themselves a lot of energy and effort. So it's nice to kind of pin somebody down with that. And it is really important that they believe that it is the correct plan, right?
Yep. The most important thing is not for you to tell them what they think they need. The most important thing is for you to have them tell you what they feel they need, and then based on what they feel they need, find the appropriate thing that we have on the shelf. And I guarantee you, we've got everything. Me and you worked at a big franchise company, and we had a very thin booklet that we actually created of all their value props, and it hit a lot of different needs, but it didn't hit all of them. For big teams and people that wanted to grow, and even franchise owners and operators, there was no playbook for us. But there's a playbook for anybody that wants to be an agent, that wants to be an agent that does a lot of deals, that wants to be a team, that wants to be a rev share owner, somebody that wants to own a region or a franchise or, big company. We've got a solution for everybody because of the way our company is structured. And so I love it.
And there's no red tape, right? In a lot of other companies, like you have to be in a special circle. You have to have done a certain thing that is very ambiguous. There's no like straightforward path. One thing I love about EXP is like there is a direct, straightforward opportunity and path for every single thing that you ever want to do or whatever you want to learn. And none of that is like, there's no gatekeeping, right? There's no like, oh, well, that's just for these special people over here, but that's not for everybody. I love that EXP really is a true meritocracy. A couple things that I wanted to end with. I'm just going to share a few closing techniques that I love. One of them is a lot of people will ask, so what do you think? Right? They'll finish by talking about everything and they'll be like, what do you think? Well, the problem with asking, what do you think is, right, Mayur, if I ask you, what do you think? And you're not like super sold, what are you going to say?
I don't know. Let me think about it.
Yeah, like it doesn't elicit a positive response. So instead of what do you think, the question I love to ask is, hey, Mayur, based on everything we've talked about at EXP today, what of everything we spoke about is most exciting to you?
Well, when you talked about showing me resources to get better leads and do it, blah, 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 get more business.
Whatever it is, there's always, even if you hate it, there's always something that's exciting to you, right? Mm-hmm. The other question that I love to ask everyone, and this has helped me close people that I thought were not ready to be closed. Like there are people I talk to and I'm like, dude, there's no way they're joining. They're not ready. And I'll say, hey, scale of 1 to 10. I'm just curious. Where are you at scale of 1 to 10 with how interested you are in joining EXP at this point? And I've had people be like, I'm a 10. And if they're a 10, it's like, let's go get ready. Like, let's do this immediately. Let's get you with an onboarding appointment. Like, let's go from here. If they are a 6 or less, what I like to do is I like to do something that I call the 4 quadrants. So the first question I like to ask, I like to say, you know what, Mayur, I appreciate you sharing that with me. I understand you're a 6. I want to leave you with one thing, and then let's talk again next week. The first question I have for you, Mayur, is, what is the absolute best case if you stay where you are? Right. And if you, let's say you're at Coldwell Banker and you say you want to stay at Coldwell, you're going to be like, well, maybe they give me a little bit better split. Maybe I have the same year I had last year. Maybe right. It's all very thin. And so I'll be like, okay, so best case scenario, maybe your business grows a little bit, maybe not. What's the worst case scenario if you stay where you are? And you're probably going to tell me something like, well, I'll probably just stay where I am. I might get upset. Da, da, da. And I'm like, well, actually, Mayur, I think worst case scenario is like, what if you get burnt out on real estate? What if you backslide? What if you're not able to come out of this hole that you dug yourself in over the last 12 months? Like, I'll embellish the worst case scenario a little bit. And I'll say, okay, so what is the worst case scenario? You seem like a pretty smart guy. If you join EXP, what's the worst case scenario if you join? And you're going to tell me something like, well, my business tanks or whatever. And I'll be like, well, actually, how long would you stay if you hated it? Like, if you didn't like EXP, would you stay for a year, or would you probably leave after like 2 or 3 months? And you're gonna be like, well, I'd probably leave after 2 or 3 months. And then the very last thing I'm going to ask you is, okay, if everything I said is true, if all the stuff, the due diligence, the homework, everything about EXP is 100% true, what is the absolute best case scenario if you join? And you're going to be like, well, I guess I would double my business and I have more time with my family and I'd impact more lives and like all this amazing stuff would happen. And then I'll close it right there and I'll say, you know what, honestly, based on what you told me just now, it sounds like you actually have a lot of risk in staying where you are with very little upside. But if you came over here, or when you come over here, you'll have very, very low risk and very high upside. So I want you to think about that over the weekend. Let's touch base again next week. And that's one of the strategies we use to transition people from a 6 to a 7, 8, or 9. Once you're a 7, 8, or 9, we can usually close them. Mayur, what do you want to add? We got to wrap this up. Final thoughts.
I just want to say it was a pleasure being able to share all this with everybody and all of our friends here at EXP. We really want to strongly recommend to anybody who wants additional help, who wants to know more, who wants to start this amazing process of, building a revenue share organization, to reach out to us. This is what we do for a living. We love it. We love talking about it. And right now, it's a great time to begin. The company is set for a major, major growth phase. And it could possibly be the best time ever to start to build a rev share organization.
Absolutely. We would love to help you. Our information is down below. Hit us up on Work Chat, Instagram, or TikTok. Thanks again for having us.